Well, this is video 22. I reckon if you've watched this many, what is it, 220 minutes it will be by the end of this one. So I think you must be quite keen if you've lasted this distance. I'm going to start missing out certain battles soon, you know, just doing start and finishes, because you'll have seen similar battles like those before, of course, early on. So we'll skip those. But I wanted to put them in the short term, so that people get an idea what they look like, and perhaps even pick up one or two tips from me, or perhaps learn from my mistakes. I don't know, but anyway, Spanish galleon in there that I'm pretty keen on getting. Thinking about getting those troops off that island maybe, and leapfrogging them perhaps onto the French one there where there are no troops in there. Just need a little sloop or something to do that. I might just do a brig because it hasn't got to go too far, so it doesn't need a very long range vessel. Having a look round first. Ought to be possible really to raise it in there and then just whack it round without being too bothered about that galleon. I expect to take out that galleon later anyway, because my fleet's coming back for that, isn't it? Having dropped its troops off in Cuba already. Maybe that's one of the sea actions I'll skip, because you've already seen an attack on a galleon with the very same fleet I'm going to attack it with anyway. So, I mean, that's provided it stays there long enough for me to catch it, of course. Usual thing, just checking what happens if I take troops out, checking the taxation level. Obviously this one here is exempted from tax anyway. Just looking what happens if I try and increase the tax in this theatre, give me a bit more revenue for the game. We're always strapped for cash, I'm afraid, in this game, for United Provinces. Put the infantry in the port. As you know, I like to have my infantry in ports if I can. Otherwise that galleon that you've just seen there could just go straight into that port and damage it. I'm stuck with having to repair it, but if I've got infantry in there, he can't do that. He can blockade it by all means, but he can't actually get in there and damage it. Right, back to Europe now. The French are licking their wounds all over the place at the moment. Having received a beating from me on the battlefield there with his troops from Alsace-Lorraine, and also having broken himself against the fortress there in France, the one just to the left of where we are now. You can't see it on the screen, of course, right at this moment. These are the horse that we used to... they came all the way from my capital to fight those troops in the middle of Europe here. They got left out because they didn't have enough movement space to get back to Flanders. These troops took a bit of a bashing in there because they were hit by a lot of troops, and if you remember there was a bit of an anomaly in that battle where I had to come outside the fortress to take them on, and we were quite weakened by then, so that caused me a bit of a problem. I'm looking at who I can reinforce them with in preparation for the next attack. On the militia, but you've seen how effective they already are. You know. very tempting. You notice that he's taken his infantry out of that port. He's obviously done that to attack me. See how now we can see he's got some troops down there. They're hiding in that school that he's got. Well, there you go. By putting troops in there, he'd left infantry in there before, if you remember. I was hoping he might put his infantry on the ships, but he hasn't done that. He's used his infantry to go and attack me in that fort, which is pretty good, because he's within my range to reach his port. Once you take a port, if he's got ships in it, those ships can no longer be at port, so he's now at sea, which means he's at my mercy. He's at the mercy of my fleet. I've got a large fleet in there. I can't take it all out because in order to raid trade routes you need to be there for at least a turn. If I were to take them all out to attack him, then I lose the income that I get from raiding on that route there. So I can only take a certain number of them out. He's close enough for any ships I'll leave out anyway to join the fray, I would think. You know, because ships that are in the vicinity also join in with battles. Anyway, I'll choose my best ships. I'll take a similar number out to the ones he's got. Obviously control and clicking each of the units means that you simply add another unit as you go along. Otherwise you just select one unit, then deselect that and select another each time you click. Control means that you can select more than one. I've said this before, if you select the first one and then shift and select the last one, for instance, you'd select all of them. So anyway, little tips there. So attacking his fleet, now he's available, and here we go. This is the bit I enjoy. I'm going to leave this battle on. I know you've seen a couple of sea battles already, but one of the main reasons for doing this was that people were a bit bothered about doing sea battles. So I'm going to put this one on here so that you can watch and see how it all works. On this one we've got similar numbers of troops on both sides as well. I'm going to leave you to watch this one, but it won't be finished in this video, of course. This one is just the build-up to it. And you can see how I've got so many troops here. It's going to snake a long way away if I put it all into one line. So I am keeping 3 separate lines here, hoping to intercept his line in more than one place as he sails across me. You'll notice the wind is coming in from the northeast, so it's a northeast wind, and that means that I'm sailing virtually against that wind. So we're going to have to start doing a bit of tacking again probably in order to get there in time. Just one final note, I'm not sure if I mentioned before, it's a reminder anyway. With ships like these, not particularly big ships, I aim to dismast them, which means that I am going to take some casualties here because he's going to be pummeling away at my guns. I sometimes hit with the cannonballs first, you know, to reduce the number of cannons that he's got to fire at me, but generally I want to dismast. What I don't want to do is blow any of his ships out of the water, and that can happen if you start firing too many cannonballs about. They just explode and you've lost the money or you've lost the chance of taking the ship. I'd rather risk losing 1 or 2 of my own ships than do that. Yeah. So problem with 3 lines like this is that it's more likely that you're going to fire through your own ships as well, so you do need to have a care for that. I've got one of these Floyds in here. It's a big ship, it's a powerful ship, but it's slow. If you put that in your line, it's just going to slow down every one of your other ships. There you go, I'm turning that line around there, hoping to get each one of those ships there, just to keep circling around and shooting them as they do, while the other ones get up there into action. If you are going to blow a ship out of the water, blow the Admiral's ship out of the water. Affects the morale of all the others, and you might even surrender. See you on the next video.